Hey everyone, what's going on? It's Dan Gheesling. Welcome to episode 70 plus 80 plus 90 plus somewhere in there. The Dan Gheesling podcast. Super excited to be here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Skokie, Illinois, Moxie, Kansas, or Turnpike City, New Jersey. Is that an actual city? We'll find out. But nonetheless, in this episode of the podcast, update of what's been going on. You know, it was definitely an interesting week with a lot of unique things that happened. So I'm excited to share that with you, and more importantly, what you can hopefully learn from what I actually did. With that being said, first one we got to talk about is this past week. We got invited on extremely late notice to a $25,000 charity tournament for Call of Duty. And I got the email at the end Tuesday night. So we did Tuesday night stream with Team Unity, went very long, which was good. And it's what would spark something else that we're going to talk about. And so right before I went home, checked my email, and there was an email in my inbox from the president of the Florida Mutineers, which is a Call of Duty pro franchise team. So if you're unfamiliar with Call of Duty, has a pro league, much like the NBA has a pro basketball league, and there are different teams, like official teams, like you have the Detroit Pistons, Chicago Bulls, Dallas Mavericks. Same thing with the Call of Duty professional league. It's the Call of Duty sponsored league. So you have like the Dallas Empire, Florida Mutineer, I think like New York Rail something or other, but there's a bunch of different Minnesota Rocker. There's a bunch of different franchises. I want to say like between 8 and 12 if I had to guess. Anyway, so I got that email. It's like, hey, I know it's late notice, but we have a charity tournament going on where you can compete to play for charity for a COVID charity of your choice. So initially, I mean, we're talking less than 24 hours notice. But it was still a pretty cool invite. Initially, I was like 85% no, not because I didn't want to, but it's just really late notice. And on my end, it was going to happen Wednesday night. And for me, Wednesday night on a personal level, is a night where I am 100% home, doing no work at night. That's how it is. It's, I am schedule based, but it just, that's how it is for my family. And I'm really excited about, those Wednesday nights. So I'm like 85% no, but at least let me throw it on the back wire or the back channel, Team Unity. And it kind of trickled in that everyone was extremely excited about the opportunity. I didn't know what people would think. I thought maybe people would want to play it, but maybe everyone was just wildly excited about it. So I'm like, okay, let me scramble here a little bit. I had to find babysitters, things of that nature. But long story short, made it happen. And it was a lot of fun. It was really our first time as Unity, as a collective, all four of us being in, an event. And I think the event was very well run. It was a lot of fun. And I think most importantly, we had a lot of fun and put on a good show and did it in a professional manner, right? So we were there when we said we were going to be there, showed up early, did what was required of us. And I know that may not sound like much, but I feel like when you do kind of that little stuff, the little stuff, right, is when people are put on a production, it means a lot, both to the organizers and I also think the people that watch it. And so it was a really positive experience, and it was cool to connect with John, who's the one that invited us. But all in all, it was a really positive experience, and I think it also gave the community something to be excited about. Same way you root for maybe a favorite sports team or whatever. I think it's cool, and I just think it opens up the gate a little bit for us to do more of that kind of stuff in the future, even if it's not ideal timing. Sometimes stuff happens, and you kind of got to weigh it out. But for me, it was a rare enough thing to be able to, move some things around personally. Do I plan on doing that all the time? No, but really what it boiled down to is between Tuesday and Wednesday, I ended up streaming 20 hours collectively. So that's 10 hours a day, which is a lot. And I'm glad it happened because it really kind of forced my hand on Saturday, which is the next thing I want to talk about. It forced my hand on Saturday to legit take the entire day off. And, it just, I hadn't really taken a day off. And what I mean by that is there'd be days that I take quote unquote off, but, I always sneak in a little, maybe a video here, some TikToks here, things like that. But it really just was, I took the entire day off. I took like a 95% day off from all of social media, didn't really post anything. I checked it just maybe once or twice, but really took a lot of Saturday off. And what it was a nice reminder for me is that, and I had sent a message to Ryan about this. I just said, hey, like, I don't know if you've taken like a true day off in a while, but it felt like when I went to like PAX before, when you go to PAX and you come back, your batteries are rejuiced and you're ready to go and really have some new creative ideas because you haven't been in the working bubble for a while. And that's how I felt, like taking that day off and truly taking it off. I just came back today, which, for context is Sunday. Came back and I was extremely dialed, probably the most dialed I've been at the office for a while. When I say dialed, I mean just maximum pogificity on creation, right? No wasted time, moving everything forward, getting things set up for the week. And so, and I feel like that's so, and you'd be like, well, if you took a day off, you kind of fall behind, but it's almost the inverse. By taking the day off, it allowed me to be more creative and even, just be more efficient. So I'm going to be instituting that a lot more. And so it, part of that too, is I end up moving the Survivor stream from Saturday nights to Friday, which we finished that up. That's a whole nother discussion. I don't know if we'll talk about Twitch watch parties on this, but it was really good. So, if you're listening to this, be like, man, I haven't taken a day off in 30 days or 5 days or 7 days. You take a day off and you end up working for yourself, or you do a lot of on-call work, or you work from home. Like, it really truly taking the day off to me was a big difference maker. Another thing that's been going really well and initially didn't go well was the Spelunky like goals. It's been something I've been tinkering with. I take a lot of the technical stuff, or a lot of the execution from Sinvicta, and just been tinkering a lot with the like goals and things like that. AKA when we put out a Spelunky video, there's an image on it. It says, hey, here's the like goal for this particular video. Here's how many days in a row we've hit the like streak. And that has really had a huge impact. And I think it's been really fun, and it's been really motivating to me, and really, because the game Spelunky I really like, but to have just a little more sauce on it from the community. I mean, this game's 2013. This game's 7 years old. To be able to play this and have, the view numbers go up with each video, the like numbers go up. I think there's definitely something to the like goals and how that's working out. So I'm really excited about it. But it's kind of brought some new legs to YouTube for me. It's not just doing the same thing over and over again. It's forcing me to be creative, and in particular is, I think we're at a current, we've hit the like goal for like 8 or 9 videos in a row. I'm like, okay, at 10, we're gonna change up the gameplay a little bit. We're gonna do something a little different. And so, like, it's instead of just kind of sitting down and just hitting record, it's like, all right, hey, look, I got to update these physically update the like numbers on the overlay, and then think about, okay, hey, what's next? What are we going to do next to keep this fresh? And it's really just opened up the possibilities for me. And part of it is I'm really excited because I don't know how, when, or why, but Spelunky 2 is coming out. And I feel like we're slowly discovering, I don't want to say everything there is to be found in Spelunky 1, but really making up for some time of not really playing the game all the way through. And it was kind of I don't want to say a big gamble for me, but a little bit of a gamble because it's an old game. But I just really enjoyed it. And I saw this comment that hit in the Spelunky videos that says, hey, Dan, I don't like your FPS content, and I particularly don't like Spelunky, but when you play it and the exploration, it seems like the joy that we get out of exploring the game is why I watch. And that's kind of, for me, that's really cool to read and hear, because that's why I enjoy the game. The game itself is a lot of fun, but also there's so much about the game I have no idea. Derek Yu, who made the game, it's just, there's so many layers to this game and so many challenges within the game. And I'm just really excited about, getting an opportunity to play it every single day and have people excited to watch it. So that's been going really, really well. And, so I got to tip the cap to Ryan Gary and Sinvicta on that, because it just came from like a one-off comment, not the series, but doing the like stuff on a Check the Wire episode. So that was really good. Another thing that kind of happened, and it's something I don't like talking about a ton. I tweeted a little bit about it, mentioned it just a little bit during the live show, but long story short, I had a family member pass away, and I was aware of that. I didn't know what the funeral arrangement was, and on Friday, like, it had to be less than 30 minutes before the show went live. I got an email saying, hey, there's a Zoom funeral today and this is the time. And at that point, things are ready for the show to get, like, things are ready to roll and started. People are, excited. People are there. I'm like, okay, well, I'm 100% going to go to the Zoom funeral. Although, to me, it was like, it's a whole different story about that. But, how do I do this? Because I have a show scheduled, people are there, and I didn't want to cancel. And part of it is, and I think, I don't know if it's like a nod, but the family member that passed away was just always, whenever she walked in the room, lit it up, was just, no matter, just always the show kind of went on. She was always performing, whether it was just me there or, a bunch of our family members or a bunch of front of strangers. So I'm like, you know what? She would want the show to go on. That's how I feel about it. But at the same time, I'm still going to this Zoom funeral. So I'll tell you, like, execution wise and logistically, which is not meant to be cold. It's like, okay, look, I'm going to go to this Zoom funeral. I don't know what to expect. I've never been one. But during that time, I'm going to take an extended break, leave the show on, and play some videos so that people are entertained during that. Now, in hindsight, had I known all this and known how I felt about the Zoom funeral after the fact, I would have just canceled the show ahead of time. Like, if I knew, I just wouldn't have done a show on Friday or done the Checkpoint League because I had a commitment. Just because, I I didn't expect to be moved by a Zoom funeral. I felt kind of weird about it, to be honest with you. But after going to it, it was, it had the same impact of going to a funeral. You pay your respects, and also it's, you kind of go through the process. And I didn't expect that at all. And, I didn't expect the emotions to come with it. But here I am, during break of the show doing this. And then, it's kind of like the show goes on. It was, you kind of push yourself through it and to do the show. And I don't say push myself through it in a bad way. It just, like, you kind of had to, I guess, be a professional about it and keep it moving. And so, but the big thing that I didn't want to do, and because I gave the people the live polling or the live audience that, hey, look, I know it's going to be a little bit weird. I'm stepping away for, I don't know how long the thing is, but I'm stepping away. And here's the reason why I don't want to put any focus on it. It felt like a little weird even saying it because, and I turned the sub alerts off because I'm not trying to monetize like emotion or sympathy. And, I got a DM from Zane, and I felt like he kind of said it, succinctly. He's like, hey, what did he say? He said, I know you're not digging for sympathy. And that's the thing. Like, that's why I don't share stuff like that, because that's not my point. Like, to me, it's like, you get no value about sharing bad news or bad things going on. It just, like, that's not what I'm doing. So I'm like, by sharing that, what I hope to do is find some value in sharing the experience and what I learned from it so that you can get something from it. Because it's the inverse. It's just not me. I don't like dig for sympathy, and I just know how caring the community is. And so I don't know. That's kind of the thing that was like a little bit up in the air about, hey, do I share? Do I not? But if I'm gone for 30 minutes in the middle of a show, it's weird. So I ultimately decided to end up share it so that people knew what was going on. But, I just tried to do it in a way that's not the focus of the show. And I just kind of, after I got back, I said, hey, thank you. And then I just didn't bring it up again because I don't know. It's just how it feels. And I always go based off of how I feel about something. So that was something, to me, what I took from that is that, although Zoom funeral is a little bit different and, maybe something I'd never experienced before, I would highly recommend you do it, in the unfortunate situation that comes up in your life. And the second thing is that, when the show goes on, the show goes on. And I think oddly enough, it helped me in another way to know that, hey, there's something else to focus on immediately after. Now, of course, in hindsight, I would do things very differently with a little heads up, but that just wasn't the case. So you do the best you can with the information you're given and just keep moving forward. So outside of that, I do want to talk about the watch parties. Is that the watch parties was something that was instituted in Twitch. We committed to doing a full season of Survivor. We picked an amazing season of Survivor to watch, Blood versus Water. There were a lot of people that watched and enjoyed it. And, I think I've surmised my thoughts a little bit. I like the watch parties for the community. I don't like the watch parties because only people in the United States can watch it. And yeah, we had some workarounds and stuff like that, but I feel like anytime you put a gate up on any content, to me, it's just not what I would choose to do. So I don't know. The other thing too is it adds a ton of time streaming, and I don't know. So I'm not opposed to doing watch parties in the future. I think I would maybe do it, over a longer extended period of time or shorter, right? So I don't know. I just feel like, for not being full time and having a non-confirmed full time schedule of streaming 5 days a week. It's not, I don't know. It's something I really got to think about. I don't know if I do it as like a community thing every now and then, but it's something that I think went well. And there was a lot of comments that from, whether DMs or during the live Twitch chat saying, hey, Dan, this is my favorite content you produced. And while like I'm super appreciative of that and I'm excited that people get excited about it, it's always walking that fine line of, kind of being who you are with reality TV and also not distancing myself from it, but I think I've come to grips where it probably is a heck of a lot more interesting for you to watch or for someone to watch Survivor with me than with another streamer on Twitch, because there's a lot of insight and, that I could provide, not from experience from Survivor, but from, a similar experience. So I don't know. I think doing Survivor, I don't know if I'd do a movie. Before I would do a movie or a TV show, I would just do another Survivor series again, because it's kind of like watching sports. Where like I'm not going to comment on a movie and make fun of like characters and stuff like that. There's only so much insight. So I think if we do continue it, it will be another season of Survivor. It's just a matter of kind of finding the window of time to make it work. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to this Monday's podcast. And I hope you guys are enjoying all the audio podcasts, all the hard work from Tyler, the producer. We got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline. With Check the Wire, everything, everything's going really well. And I'm really appreciative of the at-bats and super grateful for the opportunity. And things on Twitch have just been amazing. So thank you guys so much for listening in. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I do want to read a review from iTunes. This is from H Fry 5754. A 5-star review. I appreciate it. It says, Dan gives a great deal of insight into the background of how he goes about planning and executing everything we do on social media and Twitch and YouTube. The open way he discusses about topic lets you see into the thoughts and how and why he does what he does and makes it that much interesting and enjoyable to listen to. Thank you so much for leaving that review on iTunes. Really helps. It's kind of like hitting the like button on YouTube. It helps feed the iTunes algorithm, gets the love out there, and helps to grow the podcast. So thank you so much for that review, HH Fry 5754, and thank you so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I will see you guys next Monday for some more piping hot action, and hope you have a great one.